Welcome to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Kris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. What does finding health look like for you? Do you have a vision for your future self and a way to get there? I'm Dr. Kris, and after 33 years in functional medicine and a lifelong journey through brain health, weight loss, hormones, mindset, and faith, I know that real transformation doesn't come from willpower or white-knuckling your way to wellness. It comes from gratitude, honoring your body as the temple that God created. This show is about body stewardship, not shame. It's about rewiring your mindset, your metabolism, and your spirit to find lasting health without the grind. I'll help you cut through the noise, see opportunities instead of obstacles, and finally live the healthy, purposeful life you were created for. Let's spark faith and transformation together. Spark Faith starts now. Hey, y'all. This is Dr. Kris Sargent, and welcome to the Spark Faith Show. Today, we are on strength. We are talking about strength today and how avoiding muscle may keep your metabolism stuck. This is the muscle myth busting show. What I've learned and some of the things that I've had to overcome in my own journey, is about getting just being not sure or being intimidated by some things around building muscle for my body. And so there's this fear that is potentially working against your metabolism. And it was working against mine, right? Like you're sharing this journey with me. It was working against my metabolism and my body composition. And ultimately that would affect my long-term health, right? And y'all know that my kids are in their 20s and I am an older mom and I'm going to be 62 in a couple of weeks. So, it's just imperative that I really want to stay alive and healthy and be able to get on the floor with my grandkids and then their kids, my great grandkids. So I wanted to keep this thing healthy for a really long time and to do the work that God has for me. So we are going to talk about this fear that's working against your metabolism, your body composition, and your long-term health that you may or may not really be aware of. Because here's the thing, there's a fear that not very many people really talk about, but I hear it in practice every day. So here's what I'm going to ask you a question. What if somewhere along the line, you became afraid of the exact thing that your body needs? Oof, right? Because I see this in my clients all the time. Doing the right things, right? Like y'all, right? Like eating less, doing my cardio, trying harder, doing all the things. But for some reason, you're actually avoiding the one thing that would change your body. Not because you don't care, but because someplace along the way, maybe you were taught to be afraid of getting bulky. Okay? So let's be clear here. I am not talking about the women who intentionally get bulky because they are rock star competitors who can do amazing things with their bodies, very low fat percentages, and they are just ripped, right? I'm not talking about that. I am just talking about everyday women like me, like you. And, like I confessed a few minutes ago, I was one of those people, but I've learned over the past few months that my fear is really unfounded. And even though I knew the physiology, y'all, I knew the physiology. So here it is, right? Building strength and muscle has helped me heal from the crash that I experienced a few months ago, right? And the fear of getting bulky might be the very reason that your metabolism isn't changing. All right. So hear that, right? The fear of getting bulky might be the very reason your metabolism isn't changing. Honestly, that belief has cost a lot of women a lot of time and tears in their journey. And I just want to bust this bulky myth wide open. All right. Because someplace along the line, we were taught that lifting heavy weights meant getting big. We see it happen to men, to our sons, right? They just are like, hooah, right? And while that might be true for some women who are physiologically gifted, or they're young, or they have some goals for competition or whatever, and most men, right? Physiologically, it's not going to hold up for most women. Most women simply do not have the hormonal environment required to build large amounts of muscle easily. Okay? So here's the thing, what you might be interpreting as bulky may be inflammation, right? It may be actually inflammation that's causing poor recovery because it's pushing too much cortisol and actually creating more body fat and stress related water retention, not necessarily muscle gain. All right. That puffy look isn't necessarily muscle. It's like your body is holding onto water after being under stress. So this is not structure, right? It's swelling. And like I said, women don't accidentally get bulky, right? That takes years and years of very specific training, very specific nutrition on specific diets at certain times and different diets at other times to get that way. And here's what a lot of y'all may or may not understand, and what isn't always clear is that muscle is actually kind of hard to build, and particularly for women. So if your fear is, oh my gosh, I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to just be looking bulky, that's not how physiology works. And y'all, I was harboring some of the same fear, and I know the physiology. So let's dive into the hormonal reality of this whole thing, because let's keep this simple, but women have like 10 to 20% less testosterone than men, right? We get some because we need it for bone health, sex drive, and other things that keep us healthy. But that also means that muscle growth is going to be slower. It's going to be more gradual, and it's going to be more controlled. Your body is not wired to just blow up with muscle, right? Men tend to build muscle like a microwave, right? It's fast, it's relatively easy, as long as their testosterone is in check. But women, it's more like waiting for the oven to get to 500 degrees. All right? Your physiology is not designed to make you bulky. It's designed to keep you strong and stable. And that distinction is really, really important. And this strong, stable, agile body that has good mobility and can get up off the floor without using your hands, and these goals of being able to easily run a certain distance or walk a certain distance, like these are things that are designed for longevity and strong stability. And because strength is what your body is naturally built to develop, it's not size. It's just being strong. It's just having capacity so that when life happens, you have the strength to meet that life, right? All right. So muscle changes shape, not necessarily size, right? And this is where some of the confusion happens, because muscle and fat are completely different tissues, right? The very first thing you need to know, and I'm going to clear up another myth in just a minute, but the very first thing you need to know is that muscle is metabolically high, and fat can tend to be very high high inflammatory markers. So muscle leads to a much higher metabolism where fat can lead to a lot of inflammation. All right. And muscle, y'all, I hear this every day. And I don't want to come off snarky with what I'm about to say, but muscle does not weigh more than fat, right? If you take a pound of feathers and a pound of rocks, there's still a pound, right? The difference, like feathers, are big and fluffy and they take up a lot of space, right? That's like fat. Fat is fluffier. Muscle is more dense, like a rock. And so maybe the rock takes up this much space for a pound, but feathers or fat take up a lot more space. And again, this is no body shaming, just physiological facts here. Muscle is very dense and structured, right? Fat is less dense and takes up more space. So when muscle increases and fat decreases, your body gets tighter and more defined. And your measurements may actually get smaller, even when there's not a change on the scale. Okay? So this is like a non-scale victory. You can wear your shorts that you couldn't wear last summer, right? Whoa, I'm tighter, I'm smaller, but the scale may stay the same. And that's fine. So muscle isn't puffing you up, right? It's actually tightening your frame. So kind of like packing a suitcase, you can just kind of throw your clothes in there and it takes up a lot of space. But if you fold everything or roll things like some of my people do, like you can get the same amount of weight, but in way less space. And that's why two women or two people can weigh the same, but look completely different because of how much muscle mass one woman may have versus the other. So the real risk here is actually losing muscle. And we've talked about that a lot. So let's flip the fear, right? The real problem isn't gaining too much muscle. It's not having enough. And this is where you can get stuck because you're afraid of getting bulky, and without really realizing this fear is kind of driving this cut calories, increase cardio, push harder, the scale goes down, but you're losing muscle mass. And we've talked, a lot about losing muscle mass. So I'm not going to go down that road too far. But, metabolism slows down, energy drops, and fat loss gets even harder because you don't have the metabolism you need to burn all of that fat. So when you lose weight without muscle, you're not fixing your metabolism, right? You're actually just slowing it down. And over time, this creates a huge amount of frustration, right? And plateaus and that feeling like, nothing works anymore because your body isn't resisting you. It's adapting to survive with less. And that is just not the direction any of us really want to go, right? So here's why cardio kind of backfires. Because it's really not the full solution. It has its place. But when we pair cardio with lower calories, it actually increases the stress and the cortisol. And if you're not doing some resistance training, it's going to contribute to muscle loss. And actually, resistance training needs to come before cardio. So when we're just doing the cardio thing, you're going to end up more fatigued. You're going to find out that you stall out, right? And you may be smaller, but you're softer. And that's not really the way we want to look in our tank tops. That's not really the way we want to look, period. So what we're looking for is that nice toned appearance, but that has to come with muscle, right? So cardio can burn a bunch of calories, absolutely. But muscle will change your metabolism and actually allow you to eat more than you ever imagined, okay? But it does take some time. Remember that muscle is like a glucose sink, right? It regulates your blood sugar, it improves your insulin sensitivity, it stabilizes your energy. And so when your muscle decreases, your metabolism becomes so much less efficient, right? Not more efficient. So all that running may not really be helping you until you start building some muscle and then run so that you can burn that fat a little bit, right? And I know this is a huge mindset shift. I know it is because we've been taught smaller, lighter, less, but our bodies actually respond to stronger, more capable, and more resilient. And really, the goal isn't to take up less space, it's to have more capacity to regulate your blood sugar, to support your hormones, particularly if you are perimenopausal or postmenopausal, and then to move through your life with strength, not frailty. And so you're not really trying to shrink your body into submission here. What we want to do is build a body that can support your life and your goals and all the things that God has for you. You have to be strong and have that capacity to move into that, right? 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God gave us a spirit of not of fear, but of power, right? And fear may be shaping the way that you're approaching your body. And so that fear of getting bulky, doing it wrong, losing control, but strength and muscle is not something to fear, right? It is the goal that we're actually headed for, to have more power to get through our life with capacity and energy at the end of the day, not petering out after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So strength is not something to fear. It's something we're designed for. And strength is not about pride either, right? I know, you know, my Division I pitcher son and I have this very friendly but highly competitive relationship. And we can definitely get into this pride thing. But it's really, at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. That's fun, right? But really, for me, it's about capacity so that I can be with him through his journey and be with my daughter through her art journey and have that capacity and to be that model for them of what they can be as they age and move into the next parts of their lives. So it is capacity to carry what you've been called to carry and to live with stability, not emotions all over the place, not energy all over the place. And this is really about stewarding your body well. And, at the end of the day, you're going to be happier with the way your body looks. And you don't have to have those Monday mornings where you're like, oh gosh, I really shouldn't have done that over the weekend. I really needed to not do all those things. So really reminding yourself why you stay in this space is about being able to carry what you've been called to carry and to live in stability and to steward your body well. And avoiding strength out of fear can really keep you from stepping fully into that capacity. All right. And so just a reminder, I am in this journey with you. I am not here to preach or to judge. I am here to help you move into the next best version of yourself. And if you have been avoiding creating muscle, or maybe you're intimidated by that part of the gym, because I was, y'all, like a month ago, I grabbed a trainer and just said, look, I need to start doing some strength training, which means I have to go over there where all the muscle heads are and they seem to know what they're doing and all the things. And I have my plan on my phone and I'm not there to impress. And certainly nobody is looking at me, right? I go to the gym with my hat on and no makeup. I am not there to impress anyone. I am just there to get my work done. and do whatever my plan says that I have to do. And so if you're feeling a little intimidated by those things, get some weights at home or find a gym. I know there's lots of smaller gyms out there that are like shame-free gyms, but find a trainer that you can get familiar with some of the equipment that may have intimidated you in the past. You're a strong woman. You are a strong person, and you can move through that intimidation and that fear and that all of those uncomfortable feelings to move through and into a different body and a better metabolism that's ultimately going to serve you in such a different way than the constant treadmill of cardio, 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 eat less, oh, I'm starving, blah, 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 right? Your body gets so used to not having enough that we shut down our metabolism. And then we don't sleep well. We don't regulate well during the day emotionally because we haven't slept and because our hormones are all over the place and our moods are all over the place. And none of us really, at the end of the day, like that about ourselves if we're really, really honest, right? I don't want to look back on my day and like, oh, I didn't sleep good and I didn't eat well and then I blew up at my daughter or my son and like nobody, no, or your spouse, your significant other, whatever, for a seemingly small, insignificant thing, but it's because we're not treating our bodies well. And at some place in the back of our mind, we know that. And so, sometimes this fear of getting to the gym or lifting some weights that we're uncomfortable lifting, that's the very thing that we need to face. So I'm going to encourage you just because, like I said, just a month or 6 weeks ago, I had to get over myself and I had to get over being intimidated by these big guys that were using the machines. And I can now like walk up to a machine and be like, how many sets do you have left? Can I use it after you? And just, be your friendly self to people. And guess what? More times than not, they're friendly and encouraging. Like, those guys love that you're there. They don't care about what your body looks like. They're just happy that you're there too and doing the work because they know how much work it takes for them. And they know that just you beginning is a big step. So just remember that for yourself, that just showing up for yourself every single day in small, consistent ways is going to get you to the goal in a year where you want to be, so that when your next birthday rolls around, or maybe you just had it, maybe your next birthday's in 6 months, it's going to look different than it looks now, right? So all that to just say, like, you're really just one new workout away from really finding a way to become stronger, right? You're not one workout away from getting bulky or, whatever you think you're going to be, but you're really one decision away from getting stronger, having more capacity, having the ability to carry what you're called to do. And, maybe a better question moving forward is not how do I get smaller? It's how do I get stronger? Because here's the thing, that strength changes everything, right? I have harped on this so many times, and I know you guys are probably sick of hearing it, but I've had to learn some new tricks and stuff, and I've been in this business for 34 years. Right? This is not my first rodeo. And I have struggled with my weight and body image and all of those things for a lot of my life. And I don't struggle with so much the mental and emotional pieces of it anymore. I just want to see what my body can do now. And I'm here to tell you that even an almost 62-year-old body can change. I've seen it in a very short period of time, little changes, just little ones, right? Like my shorts fit me differently this summer. or my jeans feel looser, even though the scale has virtually stayed the same. And that's not something to be afraid of. That number has nothing to do with your self-worth at all, right? We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139. Go back and read it. I told you that's my go-to. That number is not your ego. It is not your self-esteem for the day, right? That number is just data. So strength changes everything. It changes your metabolism, right? More muscle, better metabolism. It changes your confidence because now you're going to feel better about even the number on the scale when your jeans slip on easily, right? I've had to lay down on my bed to zip my jeans. I don't like that feeling. So, it really will start to boost your confidence as your body is getting tighter and your frame is getting stronger, even if the scale isn't moving. Because what you're doing is you're increasing your capacity for life in all of its beauty, right? Whether it's with your kids, your spouse, your dating life, your career, right? What are the things that are important to you? Your ability to go gardening, your ability to go hiking. Maybe you have this trip in mind that you want to hike the Grand Canyon, but you're not in shape to do that. Improving your strength is what's going to allow you to have the capacity to do more things like that, right? What are the dreams that you have for yourself? This is what's going to allow you to get there regardless of your age. I'm here to tell you that you can build muscle at any age. I referenced some of that in my muscle podcast a few weeks ago and last week about longevity. And like 80-year-olds sitting in wheelchairs can gain muscle mass. So can you, right? So I'm here to help you renew your health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. Hit subscribe, hit like, send this to your friends, hang with it. You're going to do amazing. Love you guys. See you next week. You've been listening to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Kris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. Tune in every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on the Transformation Talk Radio for more simple, faith-fueled steps to live the vision God placed in your heart. Are you ready to take the next step? Schedule a discovery call or connect with me at drkrissargent.com. That's DRKRIS Sargent.com. While you're there, download my free ebook, Endless Energy, the 6 non-negotiable keys to endless energy, and sign up for an upcoming masterclass. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the show, and I'd love to connect with you on social media at Dr. Kris Sargent. Let's keep sparking faith and transformation together. Can't wait to see y'all next time.